This video is about Saichi and the word Kokuu. Kokuu in Japanese combine two words. Ko is for nothing or emptiness, and ku is for air. And that Kokuu is so interesting for me because I have the sense of, you can call it Kokuu, within myself, which is emptiness. But it's not emptiness in the sense of something negative, but it's clarity, transparency, and there's a connection to awakening experience for myself as well as, for example, Zen monk Dogen. His word is mind and body falls off, so nothing left. Why this Kokuu is so interesting? It's very difficult, but the difficulty is related to the meaning of the word. The word doesn't mean anything if we don't know what that represents. Not in the knowledge, but in, you can call it experiential wisdom. You know something about it when you hear it. When you hear the bird singing, you know that's crow, or whatever the name of the bird is. Or sometimes you don't know. But without thinking, you come to sense with what that is. So the Kokuu, as Saichi talked about, I've been thinking about it for some time. And what I want to share is the idea of Kokuu can be expressed in some way or the other, which may lead us, or anyone who is interested, to sense what the state of awakening may be. You can call it enlightenment, or in the Christian term, I'm not sure if the conversion is the right word, but something that you relate to the way of God, so to speak. So it may be taken as very nebulous and unrealistic, especially when we live in our mind. But this is the story of beyond the mind. It's kind of like a Christmas time for the kids to have the Santa Claus. For adults, it may not feel right, but for those with limited intellect, and Saichi may be one of them, or for those whose mind is fresh, not confined by the logic, fine print, legal definition, but rather intuitive sense of what it is, the idea may be understood and relate to what he's talking about. What I say may be delusion for that reason, because it's my interpretation or my intuitive sense, but religion or spiritual matter is pretty much like that. It's just using the word as a pointer to the moon. That's the Zen expression. And the Kokuu is some such subjective experience of being, comfortable being. In Saichi's case, being with Amida, or it could be the being with the Christian, a God, or being with the law of nature, as much as I talked about melting into nature. When you melt into nature, the mind evaporates, and you connect to what's there. Zone experience may be the way. But Kokuu has some kind of a idea, the emptiness. And in fact, I may have mentioned, but there's a Zen koan about the Joshu and non-Zen. And this is about the ordinary mind is the way, is the name of the koan in Gateless Gate. And the Joshu was asking what the way. The ordinary mind is the way is the answer. How can I get it? Non-Zen answers, if you try, you cannot get it. How do I know if I get it? When you get it, it is like a blue sky. beyond world. So that notion in Zen about emptiness or the blue sky seemed to connect to Kokuu, as Saichi talked about. So let me go through some of the examples. So Kokuu, air, and I are all about Amida. Amida representing the compassion. I am sucked up by saying Namu Amidabutsu, which is I throw myself into the hand of Amida for Amida's compassion, because Amida is the Buddha who would save whoever who can relate to Amida's vow that Amida can save. So it's just a belief system that when you have it, totally throw yourself. It's like no self. Typical Zen expression, counterintuitive or beyond the mind, but that seems to what it points. So I'm talking about the Zen point to the same situation. Shin Buddhism, as in Saichi, goes to the same situation. And with my experience of awakening, I feel the same idea of Kokuu, emptiness, no mind, whatever way we can express. And that's what I wanted to share for the sake of possibility, potential. There's something in here that is beyond the mind. And I think I have mentioned about Shotoku, Prince Shotoku, talking about falsehood is in the society, and you need to find the truth, is his saying. That is to point the importance of Buddhahood, not the falsehood in the society with all the ups and downs, and think that is the whole world, but trying to get to the core, the truth, as represented by Buddha in this case. You can use other words like a God. Therefore, in Prince Shotoku's case, he talks about even Japanese Shinto has the same truth in there, if we can interpret, and therefore he respected Shinto, and he never visited the Buddhist temple without visiting Shinto shrines. So there's something in nature that may be considered as truthful. That's the point. And let me continue about this Saichi's word. There is nothing for Saichi except for bliss and happiness. Good or bad, they are all gone. Nothing left. Good or bad are gone. It's just the state of being with the truth, if you may want to call it. Having nothing is comfortable and peaceful, and therefore there's nothing points to Kokuu, having nothing. As much as I mentioned of Dogen, his word is Todatsu, or mind and body fall out, so nothing left. So Saichi's case, he says, continues, all are taken by Amida Buddha. As he let go of him and taken by Amida Buddha's compassion, that's what you get. Let me repeat. There's nothing for Saichi except for bliss and happiness. Good or bad, they're all gone. No dualism. Nothing left. Having nothing is comfortable and peaceful. All are taken by Amida Buddha. So he's very thankful for Amida Buddha. Last one, related to Saichi and his bonno, which is delusion. He says, joy is interesting. You can use the blissfulness for joy, same thing. But he used the word, joy is interesting. Me and Amida Buddha, Namu Amidabutsu. How wonderful the world and Kokuu, This is, again, emptiness as in the sky. All are Buddha, manifestation of Buddha, or law of nature. I'm there as well, Namu Amidabutsu. My mind and Oyasama is parent. Like Amida Buddha is the Oyasama. So he can rely on Oyasama like a children. Be happy with being Oyasama or Amida Buddha. We are one, Namu Amidabutsu. It is not me to become Buddha. That's the self-power. Because this is Shin is other power, the way of the universe. So it says, it is Amida to replace me. Or you can call it law of nature to replace me. Namu Amidabutsu. So Amida and Saichi is one. Namu Amidabutsu. Let me repeat. Joy is interesting. Me and Amida Buddha. Namu Amidabutsu. How wonderful. The world and Kokuu, emptiness as in the sky. All are Buddha. I am there as well. Namu Amidabutsu. My mind and Oyasama, which is parent, Amida Buddha, we are one. Namu Amidabutsu. It is not me to become Buddha. It is Amida to replace me. Namu Amidabutsu. I wasn't sure if I used the word replace, because Amida and Saichi become one. But in essence, Amida filters into his system, the mind-body, and for that reason, he feels like he is with his Oyasama, the parent, cuddling up, whatever. Therefore, the joy and happiness, and that's the point. But you can say Amida is replacing, because when he says Namu Amidabutsu, he is throwing himself away, because he himself is full of the delusion and repentance, the problems. And the way out is beyond the logic in his view. Therefore, feeling comes from Amida is very attractive, and therefore he threw himself into Amida's hand, or Amida's pocket, whatever the way you call it, and therefore Amida and Saichi become one. Therefore he feels bliss, and he is in heaven without dying and go to heaven. He is already with Amida in heaven. Interestingly, he's not staying there, because he's human too at the same time. So the delusion pops up, and he can say Namu Amidabutsu, and then connect with Amida Buddha. He goes back and forth. That's the relationship of the children with their parents, or something like that. Religion is paradoxical. The normal use of the word, use of our mind, cannot penetrate through. But if you have a way, like in meditation or Zen or Shin Buddhism, you may break through that confinement of mind in which we all are trapped, especially in the society bouncing around. It is necessary to function in a society with words. So it's not that Garden of Eden, unfortunate or fortunate, I cannot tell which, but we happen to be out of the Garden of Eden. So we might as well learn how to use words and logic, as well as to see where we came from, the Garden of Eden. Amida may be seen as coming from Garden of Eden or God, but Amida's case is not punishing, but compassion to save. So that's the fantastic thought, teaching, idea that Saichi embraced and found his happiness. And therefore he wrote poems after poems, almost 10,000 of them, until he died. I'm happy to find him, and I feel like Saichi living in me. So, thank you for listening if you are listening. Namu Amidabutsu. Thank you.